up first, we have to introduce the Boston Uprising.
A lot of pressure on these guys.
There is depth to this team that people did not expect to see.
My personal goals for this season is I want to be best teammate.
I want to be the best main tank player in Overwatch League.
Wow, Boston just destroying Shanghai.
My personal goal is to get to know my team really well and show people we can go really far in this league and not come out last place.
Wow, great play actually from Dreamcasper.
Right now, I think it's very possible for us to get into playoffs.
You can see they can be a very competitive team.
For now, Boston Uprising is weaker and not popular, but I think we have potential to be the best.
They're young, they're scrappy, they were able to pull off the victory tonight.
Well, guys, Boston's scrappy indeed, and a pretty solid first map despite the strength of Seoul. Really wasn't until that very end where they couldn't really find a different way to break point C that things kind of fell apart for the Uprising.
Yeah, and what I really like about watching Boston play is many people assumed that this was not going to be a very good team coming into Overwatch League, but what the organization itself said was that they were looking for coachability first and foremost, and I think you can really see that with this roster because as far as communication and fundamentals go, very solid. But the question is, can they adapt within the game itself? And they've been struggling with that, but I think that's going to come in time, and then they're going to be very dangerous.
I agree, too. And I mean, if you look ahead to stages, 2, 3, etc., I think this team's going to really come up. As you can see on your screen, Bunny subbing in for Wekid, making a little bit of a swap. So bringing in a Tracer specialist for map number 2. We can play other things, but it's pretty much what we know him for as we look ahead towards Horizon Lunar Colony.
And I think this makes sense considering that, like many other teams, the Dynasty have preferred running the Sombra, Moira, and Tracer combination on point A. Now, worth noting that Boston did win Horizon when they played up against the New York Excelsior. So they picked up a pretty big win there. And New York was running that very mobile triple threat strategy that I just discussed. However, Boston did have trouble holding on point A and was winning with a Genji Tracer dive composition through some good stalls on point B. So they should know that there will be this look probably coming out from the Dynasty, and they should be, we'll see if they've made the right adaptations in order to prolong the take of point A.
Right. And that's going to be kind of the keys of the game for these guys going forward, right, is adaptation. Are they going to be able to adjust in the heat of the moment to what their opponents are doing? And I got to say, Seoul's probably going to be the biggest test of that kind of thing.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think we can say no team has adjusted better than the Seoul Dynasty has.
Yep.
Even if they have struggled, as we saw in that last map.
Well, we've talked about it too. I mean, despite their supports being in kind of a meta that's not favorable for their favorite heroes, for them to do this well in that circumstance really speaks to just the overall incredible strength of this team.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, though. And if the meta changes, it will only make them scarier.
Yep.
They can start playing that Ana and Lucio again. They're going to be feeling good.
I really can't wait till Jaehong's Ana comes back.
It has come back already.
We see it a little bit, but
he plays it more often than anyone else.
I miss seeing it every map like we used to, though.
Okay, so Boston played this dive composition both on attack and defense against New York on Horizon, and it's going to be matched by dive from Seoul. So we're not going to see the Moira, Sombra, Tracer, and they're just going to try and out-dive the opposition. So Miro will dodge ahead to do a little bit of scouting right here. Now, usually dive compositions on Horizon work with an engage as you're crossing through this open ground.
Right.
If you're on the attack. So are they going to try and bait this out? No, they're just going to go onto the high ground.
Wow, they are going in hard. Miro getting really, really low, and Boston's going to punish that. Miro Fleta dying early. Zunba demeched. Disaster for Seoul. Can Boston get to the point, though? Or can they defend it anyway?
Yeah, and
they can get to the point all they want.
They can go back, just retreat. But I like the way they're playing now.
Just woke up.
And you see that because they already have the high ground advantage, only so many of these Seoul heroes can get up quickly onto the high ground. So they were rapidly outnumbered as Boston came back in order to defend.
Well, Jaehong trying to come in again. This time they're ready for Gamsu. Orb of Discord gets on him right away. A lot of extra damage. And so now Boston without one of their tanks here.
And Bunny, all he's doing right now is just trying to force them to come back onto the point and defend.
Yep.
And that caught Boston a bit out of position.
That's the plan. Now they're going to try to catch Boston outside of it. Dreamcasper pulls out the sword, looking for a few victims. Miro jumping to safety. Can't get any kills with that. But Seoul will go ahead and win this fight. This may just be point A.
Yeah, 3 members of Boston still alive, but they're not going to be in great shape to retake. So will be a delayed take on point A. Took a couple of attempts. Seoul changed their positioning. You'll notice that because of the back cap, Boston had to think about getting back to the point, and also they forced members of Boston into a corridor where it was difficult to anti-dive them. Now,
a lot of momentum coming in for Seoul here. They've got some good ultimates to work with if they decide to go in.
will be Dreamcasper switching to McCree to try and deal with the dive right now.
Yep. All right, Miro does fall. Fleta waiting for that Dragon Blade. Is he actually going to use it? You may want to wait here. They've committed a couple ults, though, so they might just try to grind this one out. We'll see. Bunny did get caught by Kalios' self-destruct. Toby brings him back. Fleta's still waiting. And now with the Transcendence, he's going in. Oh, but a Trance on the other side from Neko, too. Gets done with that flashbang, taken down by Dreamcasper. And it's going to be Toby running for the hills as Boston will hold.
Yeah, and both teams had approximately equivalent ultimates. Each had one fight there on point A. And I think, again, we're really seeing how well Boston's supports are communicating. Neko and Kelix, again, very patient, assuming Fleta's going to be pulling out that Dragon Blade, always trying to make sure that Seoul commits first, and then they'll have the advantage to actually finish out that fight. So really, really good stuff when it comes from Boston and that ultimate efficiency.
That commit was a little bit surprising too, but they decided to go for it. Oh, Miro again, getting a little bit too deep. They caught him.
Miro's been overextending a lot.
He really has, yeah. Jaehong taken out. I mean, this push is basically over. When you lose the Winston like that right off the bat. Oh, nice pick on the Toby. Gamsu really punishing this, and now the spawns for Seoul are getting extra staggered.
Yes, they are, and Kelix also almost catching up to Toby here with the Valkyrie. It looked like there may have been a window on the next attack, but as the fight finishes it out, both of our Mercy players will be coming back with the Valk. And Dreamcasper also now his first opportunity to zone some people out with that Deadeye.
You know, I wonder what happened with Miro in that last push. I didn't see if he had the ultimate when he jumped in last time. Maybe the plan was to pop that right away and create some space, and he just died too fast. But either way, it's looking a little bit off for Seoul here on this attack.
Yeah, flashbang is often, if you can burst him down fast enough.
That does hurt you a little bit. Keeps you from pressing Q.
So Dreamcasper has been playing behind this barrier for most of this game right now, waiting for people to try and dive on top of him.
Yep. Oh, there goes Bunny. And Toby trying to escape again.
Wow, they're actually using the Valkyrie. This is going to be very difficult for them to win.
I don't know, man. Yeah, that's very... Oh, nice stick on the Dreamcasper, but he gets res before he even hits the ground. Seoul really putting a lot into this one, and it may come back to haunt them. Striker has that pulse bomb. There's the self-destruct, has to get out of the way. Gets caught by it anyway. Thought he was behind the pillar, I guess. And now Seoul comes storming back on the back of a couple tank ultimates, and they are getting some serious time on this control meter.
Wow, I didn't think that was going to work for Seoul at all, Doa, because they lost 2 players before the Valkyrie was even used, so both Resurrects had to be used immediately.
Wow,
but
that's
immediately afterwards, the target calling using the mobility of the Tracer and Genji, all 6 players were just hopping around to opposite sides of the point to focus down people one by one.
Yeah.
So they used the time in which the Resurrects were occurring and to get Toby back in there to make sure everybody on Boston was split in a ring around the point and then just pick them off one by one. So target selection there working out, but I am very surprised they were able to pull that off.
Yeah, that was a little bit shocking. Well, Boston suddenly looking at their opponents with a bit bigger time bank than they may have hoped for.
Yeah, 3:11 is quite a bit of time to work with on Horizon. Question now is, are we going to see Boston run the same style of attack with the Genji Tracer dive that they've run previously? They did make, of course, that alteration to the McCree, but I think if you're Seoul right now, you just keep running the dive comp until somebody can stop you from doing it, and they managed to take both points pretty quickly there.
Might as well. Some little uncharacteristic mistakes too from Boston too, especially on the side of Striker. getting caught by that Diva ultimate. I mean, he knew it was there. It was right on his screen, and maybe thought he was behind the pillar, but it seemed like he was tunneled a little bit on going after the supports of Seoul and just kind of got caught at the wrong time.
Well, I think that being tunneled was perhaps the right play in theory there because of Toby opening himself up for some dangerous play coming all the way across the point. And
just not when there's a self-destruct
Yeah,
next to
yeah.
you. That's normally you'd want to take advantage of that, but you have to be aware of your surroundings, Monte Cristo. You were the guy that fell into the pit in Mario a lot, weren't you?
That was me,
That's,
absolutely.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Environmental issues. You don't like well.
You know I'm a terrible Mario Kart player. I fall off the map all the time.
I do know that.
I'm super bad at Mario Kart.
I love Rainbow Road. Yeah, that's a good map for the 1v1.
I'm sure we all have our gaming kryptonite, Stoa. Mine is Mario Kart. It's the game that it doesn't matter how much I play, I will never be good.
That's right. Mine is games with too much text.
Reading, Doa's weakness.
That's my kryptonite. Boston Uprising on the attack. Oh, Dream Casper taken down early.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to move back to him. His body is surrounded by members of Seoul right now, so this will have to be a respawn. Both teams back to playing the dive. I think it's bold if you're Boston to try and play dive versus Seoul Dynasty.
Sure is. Do you think they're relying a little bit too much on this comp? We've seen it more and more from these guys.
Yeah, I definitely think they are.
Yeah.
But right now, as a newer team, I think that...
Whoa,
that's
there we
a nice
go.
kill, though.
Yeah, Toby trying to escape, not able to do it. Kalios picks him up. Kills coming in.
Yeah, Buddy killed both their supports, though, so...
that helps.
Boston going to have to wait this one out, even as they are able to isolate Zunba. Zunba still hasn't been DMAC. Finally, will lose that, and he's going to...
I'm in space!
Buddy and...
I'm dead in space!
Zunba going to go try and play in space right now. Rewind, and there's a bit of distraction here on the side while his allies get back to the point. Bunny will voluntarily try and reset, but it's only going to be 4 members versus 6 on the point from Boston Uprising. They're going to get this one up.
Yeah. Boston should have it. That was a nice little stall on a couple members of Seoul. They are going to get way up front here. Seoul comes in to try to defend. And Boston's just going to bottle them up between points and not let them get there.
Yeah, I like what we saw from Boston, too.
Yeah.
They weren't so obsessed with capping the point. They knew that if the supports got too close, which we did see from Jaehong and Toby, that they were going to be vulnerable without Bunny there, still waiting for that respawn. So they take that opportunity to kill the supports, and yes, they'll be back now, but they're not necessarily going to have the best positioning, and they get a little more ult charge for themselves as a result.
Oh, speaking of ult charge, Boston close to 6
versus
ultimate.
6.
Yeah, it's going to be 6 on each side. The apocalypse is real. Here we go. Diving in, Striker. Just trying to find the opposing Tracer. Bunny gets a little bit low here. Kelix dies really early in this one. Somehow Zunba got him.
No ults used by Seoul yet. They're holding on to him.
Yeah. Kalios down into that Pilot Diva form. Dream Casper can't quite kill Toby. He's got another opportunity here, but no, the healing is real, and Boston has to back up.
That's great discipline from both teams. So both teams were approaching 6 ultimates, and neither of them used a single one.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
That's very good discipline.
Yeah.
Both teams knew that when Kelix went down, the fight was effectively over, and at that point, it was a mind game trying to get each other to push those ultimates out and see if they could get an advantage going into another attack, but neither team bites.
And so we come into this push again from Boston with 12 ultimates still available. Oh, Dream Casper goes down early here. None used yet. Kalios trying to turn things around, but Seoul just all over them. The dive has been, when you're on this point where it's so wide open, here's where you're really going to see who the better diving team is.
Yeah, you're going to be trying to control some of those ults. Bunny actually will demech Kalios. So the one ult we saw used coming in was just the pulse bomb to force Kalios to have to either reset his ultimate by going back to spawn and swapping heroes back to Diva, or to slowly ping away with the Bunny Blaster to get his mech back. So that's just a great delay. Both teams really, really disciplined right now.
No kidding. Jaehong, you would really love to hit somebody with a big Zenyatta alternate fire. I'm just assuming.
I think every Zenyatta player
That's
wants
what every Zen loves. Flat up on the high ground.
This is such a great game of chicken.
Yeah. Or chess. It's so cerebral. Oh, Kelix cut down fast here. Fleta may find both supports. No, Neko to the rescue, saves himself. Boston with a couple kills, they've got the man advantage. But without the Mercy, can you really push this? They're gonna try it here. Now the ults start to come out. Jaehong backing away, needs to worry about that Tracer a little bit. Striker certainly a danger. There's a Transcendence, Boston committing, and they do kill Kobe. Jaehong has to pop his own ultimate to try to keep the team up, but Dreamcasper is still gonna find those kills anyway.
Neko actually getting another kill onto a DPS hero, so this is Boston's opportunity.
Dreamcasper's gotten like 4 kills in this fight, putting Boston on his back and carrying them now. They've nearly got that first tick, but Toby coming back in with some reses. He had that Mercy ultimate. Dreamcasper's still alive though. Miro just trying to keep people off the point. There's still not that first tick taken by Boston yet. Are they actually going to get pushed back here? Wow, Seoul manages to pull it out of the fire in the end and deny Boston even a tick on point B.
And all 12 ultimates were used in that fight, Doa.
Crazy.
And you see both of these teams aware of a timing. Boston thought that by having that death from Seoul in their back line that they would be able to push forward and use the ult and the man advantage just to try and take over that point. But with Toby resurrecting and the Valkyrie coming back on, there was a narrow timing window that Boston couldn't quite execute on.
You know, you do see pushes held, but generally the attacking team gets at least 1 or 2 ticks on the control meter. That's what I'm really shocked about, is that they managed to do it without giving Boston anything. That's crazy. Boston coming in now again. Down to 2 minutes left in the time bank. It's time to make something happen, and Gamsu falls really early. Kalios trying to compensate Dreamcasper with a kill on Defleta though. And maybe they can push ahead a little bit more here. Gamsu back up again. Dodging that self-destruct now. Dreamcasper about to go back in. Pulls it out Miro. Can they keep him healed up? Reflect, looks like they can. And throughout all of that, D.Va was still on the point, denying Boston time.
And guess what, Doa? Toby still has that Valkyrie, so he's going to go ahead and use it now.
He's going to try. Kelix gets stomped by Miro, actually. So now the only Mercy up for Seoul. And Boston, they're backing away. Kalios, D-Mech, that's going to be a pretty... Okay, they didn't stagger him as much as they could have. Going to go instead after Gamsu, get another late kill on the tank. Seoul once again holding.
Well, Boston thought right there. Neko and Kelix again doing a good job of timing their ults. When Fleta came in and tried to kill the Zenyatta, we saw Neko just immediately use the Transcendence, and that's when they wanted to attack again. Fleta couldn't get anything done with the Dragon Blade. And so it looked like an opening was presenting itself. However, Seoul was able to constantly keep one person on the points, and Boston, with just slightly better target selection, could be winning these fights.
Toby got low, but he stayed alive for the moment anyway. Zumba back on the high ground. They're going to demech Kalios early. Good start for Seoul. Fleta just waiting, man. He's got opportunities. Yeah, doesn't even need to pull out that Dragon Blade. Self-destruct catches Neko. Another push stuffed by Seoul. Oh, they're going to go up to the Dragon Blade. Kelix in danger, cut down. Oh, Fleta just decides to punish, and with 20 seconds left, you really can't blame him. Absolute desperation for Boston, but it just is not going to be enough unless they get some sort of crazy desperation push going here.
I mean, it took the Transcendence just for Neko to get back to the point. Fleta took an opportunity after Neko died, knowing that if the Valkyrie was popped, he could counter it with the Dragon Blade, find that Mercy, and he does.
And that is it. So Seoul Dynasty will win the map and go up 2-0 in this series.
I mean, that may be 2 maps for Seoul, though, but the level of teamwork and coordination we're seeing out of Boston right now for such a new team is impressive.
It's a tough match for Boston, although Seoul has definitely been looking better in the last couple matches. Like you said, Boston showing a lot of strength on their side too, if not maybe enough adaptability.
Yeah, but take a look at that last point with the 12 ult, the game of chicken that we saw with the ult economy. Really fun Overwatch to see. And we haven't gotten enough of that yet.
No, I'm sure we'll see much more as the season continues. We're going to take a break. Coming back to halftime right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by